There was no plan. There was no plot. If we all had a plan to do this, we would be much better prepared. Where are we? You know, our story hasn't gone out. We don't have a media strategy. We don't have people to work with us, because all the important positions in government and private sector were taken by MDP of the President's party. He doesn't want anybody other than his own people in every single job.
Speaking about the government and its current plan, President Dr. Wahid said the government's first and foremost priority at the time is to respond to the call of duty for the country and be fair and proactive as to find solutions to the current issues facing the country. He also added that the violence and upheavals in the country could be stopped if President Nasheed cooperates and stop calling for violence. President Wahid added that he expects President Nasheed to act responsible and put national interest first rather than Nasheed's own desire for popularity and fame.
President Dr. Mahmoud Wahid meets with the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State Robert Blake. During the meeting held at Hilaliya, the President briefed Blake on the measures being taken to find a peaceful solution in resolving the current political problems in the country. The President also said that his top priority was to restore peace and order in the country. U.S. Assistant Secretary of State Robert Blake is currently speaking to the media at the moment. We will be bringing you details later in the day. Sri Lanka's Deputy External Minister Nirmal Pereira says the current crisis in Maldives is an internal issue of the Maldives and must be solved by the Maldivian people in a peaceful and democratic manner within the framework of the country's constitution. He said Sri Lanka, being the closest neighbor in geographic proximity to the Maldives and as a country with which Maldives share a strong traditional relationship, is closely observing the developments in this country following the resignation of former President Mohamed Nasheed. He said that any initiatives by external quarters without the consent of the Maldives will be misplaced and unhelpful. He further said that as a close friend, Sri Lanka will continue to support the sustenance of the democratic traditions and the enhancement of economic and social development in the Maldives for the benefit of the Maldivian people. He said that Sri Lanka is confident that normalcy would soon be restored in the Maldives and a broad consensus through political dialogue achieved to bring stability and prosperity to the Maldivian people. Acting Minister of External Affairs Nirmal Pereira said today that if the Maldives requested assistance from Sri Lanka, the government would offer any support necessary. However, the government was of the view that interference in the internal matters of this country were not called for. The Sri Lankan government says it would protect the family of the former Maldivian President Mohamed Nasheed as long as they remain on Sri Lankan soil. Acting Cabinet spokesperson and Minister Anura Priyadarshana Yapa says that former President Nasheed's family is currently in Sri Lanka and that they would be provided with the necessary security. However, he said that Sri Lanka would not interfere in the current internal crisis of the Maldives. When questioned on whether the family of President Mohamed Nasheed and other members of his party would be granted asylum in Sri Lanka, he stated that no such request had been made so far. The Commonwealth Journalists Association urges the new Maldives administration to respect the rights of journalists and to let journalists work without fear of intimidation and in a safe and respectful environment. CJA President Rita Payne said the association has developed valuable relationships with the Maldivian media over the last few years, and while it remained neutral in matters of internal politics, it would not stay silent if members in the Commonwealth journalism fraternity were endangered. Payne said she visited the Maldives last June and had the opportunity to meet a range of journalists here. She said the CJA noted with a grave concern a statement by the Maldives Journalists Association that members of the media were being threatened and harassed over their reporting of the current political crisis. The association said that television stations were being penalized for airing opposition politicians' comments. She further said that the CJA will continue to closely monitor the situation in the Maldives and through their Commonwealth network will do all in their power to defend the rights of Maldivian journalists. Following the unrest in Naddo City, 3 councillors from the City Council are taken into police custody. A total of 81 people have been taken into police custody following the unrest in Naddo City, which was driven by supporters of the Maldivian Democratic Party. Police commander in Addo City, Yunus Sapar, stated that these people are taken into police custody following court warrants. Speaking to TV News, Sapar confirmed that 3 councillors from the city council are among those under police custody. MDP supporters began the demonstrations peacefully but later turned into a full riot where some high-profile MDP leaders were also seen. Confrontations were seen between the demonstrators and the security forces of police and MNDF. Apart from a police station at a local residence, the remaining police stations and the police training school was vandalized and set ablaze by the demonstrators in Addo City. Also, all the courts in Addo City apart from the Midu Court and Maradu Fedu Court were vandalized and set ablaze. Midu Court and Hulumedu police station were protected by Midu residents. While the Maradu Court was vandalized and set ablaze, the islanders initiated a rescue operation and controlled the fire from spreading. Addo Police Commander Sabah stated that police had evidence to support their arrests. Parliamentarian of the Maldivian Democratic Party, Imtiaz Fahmi, says the MDP gives its utmost importance to establishing a fair justice system. Speaking at an MDP rally last night, Fahmi said that MDP is working on reforming the justice system so that the guilty are punished according to the law. Speaking last night, MP Muhammad Aslam said that the MDP came to power with the main focus on abolishing tyranny that proceeded with the public's vote. Former President Mohamed Nasheed and members of the former cabinet participated in the rally. The rally was held under the banner Journey to Justice. The Tilafuji Corporation says reclamation of the landmass which is to be developed as an industrial zone in Tilafuji under the second phase of the reclamation project is now complete. The corporation added that interested parties would be able to lease land plots from the newly reclaimed 30 hectares of land. Speaking to TV News, Manager for Corporate Affairs of Tilafuji Corporation, Muhammad Latif, said that under the initiation to develop small and medium-scale businesses, land area of 2 million square feet has been said to be leased as go-downs and other industrial purposes, especially for the respective businesses. He added that under this process, land plots scaled from 2,000, 5,000 and 10,000 square feet would be leased to small and medium-scale businesses. At the completion of the mass reclamation project of a total land area of 57 hectares, the newly developed Tilafuji area would be with a harbour area of 30 hectares and an industrial zone with a container terminal. According to the Tilafuji Corporation, the project managed by Heavy Load Maldives is worth $21 million. Top stories from around the world. Cruise lines are now required to conduct passenger safety drills before leaving port under a rule announced by 3 cruise industry associations. The new policy is the first to come out of an internal cruise industry review announced last month in response to the Costa Concordia disaster. While the muster drills before leaving port goes beyond the existing legal requirement that passengers participate in the safety drills within 24 hours of embarking. CLIA, the largest cruise industry organization in North America, the European Cruise Council and the UK-based Passenger Shipping Association all have adopted the new policy effective immediately. Passengers who arrive after drills are held will receive prompt individual or group safety briefings. The United Nations General Assembly is becoming the focus of attempts to apply pressure on the Syrian government over its continued crackdown on dissent. Meanwhile, tanks and artillery continue to bombard parts of the central city of Homs, a focus of anti-government protests.
Saudi Arabia is circulating a draft resolution calling for an end to violence by all sides and for President Bashar al-Assad to step aside. It is similar to one which Russia and China vetoed in the Security Council, triggering anger among Western powers. But it adds a new element, a request that a UN Special Envoy is appointed. The General Assembly is scheduled to discuss Syria on Monday, when it will be addressed by the UN's High Commissioner for Human Rights, Navi Pillay, but no vote on the resolution is expected by then. There is no power of veto at the General Assembly, but its resolutions have no legal force, unlike those of the Security Council. The draft resolution circulated by Saudi Arabia fully supports the Arab League peace plan published last month, which called on Assad to hand over power to his vice president